And here we are. We're ready to start. Let's try this. Once and for all. Here we are, everybody. I thought I had it all together, but as usual, it's always something. I spilt my coffee getting started on my clean clothes. But here we are. Missing one thing. Well, problem is I can't find the glasses that take the glare from the screen from my eyes, so it makes it hard for me to see. Well, here we are, everybody. I am Spiritualist R.J. Sheldon, psychic and spirit talker here in San Antonio, formerly known as Spiritualist Joseph. Asking you to join in as I talk about my book, which I am writing heavily in now. It is well on its way. I have the new publishers. They produced a new cover. And it's well on its way. I'm writing vigorously for them. Get it on the road and get it rolling before Halloween. It's got to be on the market before Halloween. So that's what I'm talking about. Now, if you're out there in the audience on YouTube or Facebook and would like to call in 210-416-4538 and ask a question or be part of the audience, feel free. Or come in on YouTube and punch in a question or let me know you're there. We're live. It's been a good month. I've been busy working on my van, trying to get it going. Transmission's been killing me. And now I got another car, beautiful little car that a good friend, follower, and a good friend now gave to Susan and I. And I'll have it on the road until I get my van going. And eventually I'll get my truck going again. But in the meantime, coffee got, coffee got cold. Once again, spiritualist R.J. Sheldon, psychic and spirit talker here in San Antonio. I'll be glad to answer a question if you'd like to pop in. I will be reading a story out of my book shortly. Some are spooky and some are just unbelievable, but they're all true. I don't have to make them up. It all took place. In fact, today I was talking to an old friend. Hadn't seen him since we were a lot younger, anyway. Name is Sammy or Sam. He doesn't call himself Sammy anymore. We're adults, but here we are. And I was going through some old numbers in my phone book, waiting for my ride. I mean, my phone. When I came across this number, and I dialed it, and I said, "Hello." And the other person said, I know who you are. Hello. I said, well, who are you? You don't know who I am, but I know who you are. Well, it turned out to be Sam. How about that? You know, him and I got talking. I told him I was writing a book. He thought that was interesting. I remember some of the stuff he used to see when we were kids and some of the things you tend to predict. It is weird. It is weird and strange. The story I'm going to tell today took place back in the 90s. And it's going to hit home to a lot of you. And it's going to be hard to believe, but it happened. You can ask my family, those that are alive that still talk to me. Hey, but there's nothing worse than being a 10-year-old boy and you hear things in the background and they're spooky, you know. Uh, it's just hard to handle sometimes. You hear something in the background.
Can you see me?
What?
Hello?
What?
Can you find me?
No, I'm not going to look
Can
for
you
you. I'm
find
busy.
me?
What?
I'm here.
Where? I don't see you.
Behind you. Look.
No, there's nobody behind me.
Behind you.
No, there's not.
I'm behind you.
No, you're not.
I am right behind
No,
you.
you're not.
Don't be scared.
I'm not scared.
I just want to play a game with you.
I don't play with kids. I'm
Hey,
too old.
don't you run away.
I'm not running away. You
Stay.
are.
Stay with me.
No,
If you don't come play with me, then we will kill you.
I don't think so. And that's what they do. You know, that's what spirits do to you.
Can you see me?
Again, no, I don't see you.
Hello?
Hello.
Can you find me?
No, I already told you. No, I don't
Can
have
you
time.
find me?
No,
I'm here.
no, you're not.
Behind you. Look.
No, no, I'm not going to look.
Behind you.
No,
I'm behind you.
no, you're not.
I am right behind you.
No, you're not.
Don't be. La 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 la.
She don't give up, does she? And spirits don't give up. They keep taunting you and taunting you. And as a kid, I see you too. So you're not going to scare me. No, not that easy. Go back to sleep. Go back to where you were. I don't know where you were at, but hasta la vista, okay? Get out. When you are a child and things come at you don't know how to handle those spooky things. You don't know if they're real or they're not. Who do you go to? You tell your mom and dad, they probably think you're crazy. Think you had a bad dream because you watched a horrible movie of some kind. But then here you are. Hearing things in the background as a child is tough. It's tough because you don't know how to explain it. So you cover your head with a blanket, close your eyes. You don't know how to deal with it. What do? You just act like you don't hear it. You act like there's nothing there. And you go on. Have you ever had a situation like that when you were a kid and you thought you saw something? You thought you heard something. You know, I here recently have run into many of people recently. They can't seem to grasp what they went through as a child, more or less now as an adult. And it is hard. It is hard for people. It's hard to see, hear, feel things, and you don't understand them. They're not always scary. Sometimes they're just things that take place, and you saw them in advance. And then some of them are just flat ass scary. When you're 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, you have to learn to deal with it. And it's not always easy. It's never, ever easy. Well, today, I'm going to tell you a story that happened. I guess I was in my late 40s when it took place. Let me set this where it's not so loud. I can only hope that those of you on YouTube can hear me on Facebook. Lord, I got you dancing. There you go. Well, I hope you can hear me okay. Those of you on Facebook and those of you on YouTube, let's get going here. There was a period I sold cars, and I was doing real well for a company called Domingo Chevrolet in San Antonio. When a company, Tom Benson Chevrolet, sent someone out to visit with me and wanted me to come out and apply and go to work for them selling pickups. Offered me a company truck, a demo, and a little bit more money commission wise and base pay. I told him I'd have to think about it. But needless to say, the more I thought about it, the more I realized I'd be really stupid to turn it down. When I decided to do it, I told him I had a doctor's appointment, and I believe it was on a Thursday. It may have been a Friday, I don't know. But I left home. I realized it was pretty early. So I stopped and picked up a box of chicken from the local churches and a couple of drinks. And went to my brother's shop here in San Antonio, downtown on Broadway. And I yelled out to him and told him I had lunch. Well, before you know it, he asked me if I'd come work for him. He had his father-in-law working for him, but he only showed up when he was feeling up to it. Then he hired a hired hand, and he came for a couple of times and then never came back. So he asked me if I'd come help him. Couldn't pay me much. I said, well, I'd have to talk to my wife, but my place is paid for. The only thing we worry about is the electricity and the taxes on the place and food on the table. Uh, I might be able to stretch it out a couple of months with you and give you a hand, and then go back out there and go to work with Tom Benson. They don't know I'm not working in Domingo anymore. So, but let me talk to my wife. So I did. I talked to Susan and told her to help him, and he said he was going to try to put a parts department together, and he would make that for me to operate on a percentage. I thought that was pretty cool. But after about a year of working there, excuse me, my younger brother came around, and he decided he was going to stay on. Tom, I had a lot of work, so he brought him on. And one evening, I was sitting around the house, and I found this little notebook, and I started writing this stuff down. And I called it 2001, When They Come. This was 1990. We were sitting at lunch, and I had my little notebook, and I was writing at lunchtime, eating. Brother and my two brothers, my younger brothers, were talking to me. He said, "Hey, are you listening to it?" Or something like that. I said, "No, actually, I got an idea for a book, and I can't put it down. I got to keep jotting this stuff down. I keep writing it." And I said, I got to keep writing it. So I'm writing and I'm writing. And he, "Well, what are you writing?" Well, after a few days at lunchtime, he catch me writing. He said, "Well, what are you writing?" My brother Jerry asked. I said, "It's a story. I named it 2001 When They Come." "Well, what's it about?" I said, "Well, so far, a man gets up. It's a Sunday morning, goes to the kitchen, puts coffee on, turns the television on to the news. Then he's going to walk away and go wake up everybody else so he can get ready for church." And he goes from there. I said, "Well, what happens?" Well, he's listening to it, and all of a sudden, when he's coming back to get him a cup of coffee, he hears the announcer say, "All hell is busted loose. It's just busted loose. An airplane has crashed into the highest and tallest building in New York." I had no idea what the towers were. Never seen them in New York or anything, so I had no idea. But the man said an airplane crashed into one of the buildings. And another one has hit the Pentagon. And another one has hit the White House. All hell is busted loose. Well, I woke. It goes on to say that I woke up the family and told them, "Hey, we need to figure out what's going on. I mean, you got to hear what the news is talking about and stuff like that." And about that time, one of his brothers came up, was asking him, "Do you hear the news? Do you hear the shit that's going on?" He said, "Yeah, I did." And they're talking, "Well, we need to get stuff put aside, get some food put aside. We don't know what's going to happen with this deal." And I said, he asked me, "Have you heard? Do they know who done it yet?" I said, "Nope. All I know is an airplane hit the White House, and they stopped one from hitting the Vatican and another one for the Pentagon. But that one hit the tall building. It's ablazing right now." Well, that's when we heard a motorcycle coming. I'm in bailing down the road up my driveway, and brrr. Well, it was my older brother. He come running up there, kind of a wild guy. And he says, "Do you hear the shit? Did you hear it?" I got my ham radio. He did operate a ham radio. He said, "I've been listening to the chatter on there, and there's a group of Muslims that are taking responsibility, saying they're tired of the Christians and the Americans and Jews running the world. And they're going to take over." They are going to stop us from ruining the world. Christians don't have any right to run the world. And they're going to stop. Well, my brothers looked at me and said, man, that's heavy. Why does it have to be Muslims? I said, I don't know, but that's what came out. And so that's what I'm writing. The year 1990. The date that this was taking place in my book was August the 8th, 2001 at 9 o'clock. Well, fast forward in 2001, I had my own trucking company by then. I wasn't working for my brother anymore. It was 7 years later. And I'd gotten married to Susan. And I had my office off San Pedro here in San Antonio. My truck would be out at a truck stop in a truck yard or in Laredo loading or on the West Coast or East Coast. But I and my dispatchers and sales group were right there in the office. So one morning, took my wife to work, dropped her off, and then on the way back, I would drop my son. He was a couple of years old. I think he was 3 years old, maybe going on 4 because he could talk. And he says, the nurse, the pre-education or daycare or whatever it was, I took him in, and they would check every kid for fever when they would come in. He said, your son has fever, you have to take him back home or take him with you. I said, I'm going to work. Are you sure? Yeah, he got 101. I said, I guess. Not a problem. I'll take him. Come on, Marcus. So I put him back in the van. I told him we'd stop and get him some breakfast, and we'd go to the office. He could sit in the office with me. I had a little portable television, and he could set up his toys. It's not like I had a boss to answer to. I was the boss. And I had my younger sister. She was my receptionist. I had a couple of dispatchers there and a young lady who I would leave in charge when I would leave the office. Kind of like my manager, office manager. So I had plenty of help with him if I needed it. But Mark wasn't no problem. So I don't remember. We got him breakfast. I don't know if we went across the street to HEB but we had something for him to eat, some breakfast. And I set him up in my office. I had a long condenser against the windows. And I had my printer and my fax machine and stuff like that on there. And I set him up at the end with a swivel chair and some paper to scribble on. And he could play with his toys. And I set up a little television with the antenna headed outward. You could still pick up local channels. And I went to work, answering my phone calls, checking my messages, talking to my dispatchers, seeing where things at. And I come back, I sit down in my chair. Sister told me I had a phone call on my stuff. I grabbed the phone, and it was my client over in Laredo asking me about trucks to go to, I think it was California, could have been Georgia. And I told him I was going to check into it, just send me the orders. We'd have no problem getting trucks on it for him. So when I heard the fax machine go off, I looked, and sure enough, it was the orders he had for me. And my son comes walking up and he said, Dad, I want to see that movie. I said, what movie, son? That movie. And I went and looked, and it looked like an advertisement or a trailer to a movie. I said, wow. Showing a building on fire and showing an airplane running into it. I said, damn. That looks like an action movie. Well, we'd have to ask Mom if you could see it. Then I noticed up in the corner of the screen it said live. And all of a sudden they were showing the news team from, I think it was Good Morning America. They interrupted the program he was watching. He was watching cartoons or something early morning. And they came on there and said, this just took place. Uh, an airplane has hit one of the towers here in New York City. It's on fire. Uh, another one uh, was spotted heading toward the Pentagon, and they're carrying on a conversation. I remember the order of it. When we watched as another plane crashed into the other, I said, "Damn!" By then, I had all the people, all my employees, and my sister in the office looking at that little 8-inch screen or 9-inch screen, whatever, well, a little bitty screen. And we're all standing there staring at it like it's a big, gigantic screen. And they asked me, is this real? I said, this is real as can be. Next thing I know, some people come across the hall. Y'all have a television? Yeah. Did you hear what's going on? So we're watching it in here. They come in my office. Boy, you know what? I had an office full of people from around the building. And we're all watching that little bitty screen, listening to the news. And that President George Bush has ordered all planes down. Everything stopped. No planes, no trains, no nothing. Everything stopped now. That's when they said that there was one that crashed. I think it was in Virginia or somewhere. And that one had already hit the Pentagon, and they were panicking. Uh, so all this is going on. We're absorbing it all. Brother Jerry was off in, I don't know, and I don't know if it was in Bosnia at the time or if he was in North Carolina, Fort Bragg, I think, where he was at. Brother John was over in El Paso, I believe it was at the time, or it may have been up here in Fort Hood. Well, the next day, of course, all planes were stopped. Boy, that was eerie. But we lived by the airport, and not hearing any airplanes come by. We had a railroad just down from us in the back, not hearing a train go by. And you're used to hearing that, it's eerie. Well, I get to work the next morning. They gave my wife, the people that when she was working, gave everybody off the next day so we could figure out what was going on. But I went to work because I still had trucks loaded and carrying on. When my sister yelled at me, said, "You have Brother Jerry on I don't know, line 1 or 2, holding for you." Said, "Oh, okay." So I got off the phone with whoever it was I was with. I said, "Hey, you had God gave you something to share with the world, with the people, and you didn't do it, did you?" I said, "Well, first of all, what the hell are you talking about? You don't remember that book you were writing when we was working for Brother Tom at his shop back in 1990? When they come or where they come or something like that?" Uh, oh, well, I don't remember what I said. I know I was shocked, but I would have said something like, "No shit," or "No way." It was 2000 when they come. He says, "What year is it?" I said, 2000. "What did they do?" I said, "An airplane crashed into the tower." "Yeah." He says, "Those are the tallest towers in New York. The Twin Towers, whatever they were, I forgot." Thomas or whatever. He said, you don't remember? I said, I do, Jerry, but I don't know what that book said. After I got through writing it down, I chunked it. After I wrote it, I forgot all about it. I never thought about it. And hell, I moved like 5 times since I wrote that thing, or at least 4. I have no idea where it's at. We need to find it. I was wrong. In case you haven't heard, they're picking up anybody that wrote any kind of a story that sounds or looks like what has happened. So maybe I'm glad I didn't. And maybe you were supposed to tell the world, or at least warn the country, that this was coming. In 1990, they would have thought I was just being racist, brother. Well, then my sister Rose says, you got Brother John on the other line? Well, I had 2 phones on my desk because I could take 2 clients at a time and or answer questions. So I grabbed that line and said, hey, I got Jerry on the line, John. How you doing? He said, I believe he was up here at Kerrville in Fort Hood. He said, I just want to know what you ever do with that book you were writing. Jerry was telling me about it. I said, I don't know. I'll have to ask Susan if she remembers. Well, in that book, he said that the Muslims did this and that they hit the towers and the Pentagon and the White House, but it looks like the airplane was going to hit the White House crashed. I said, I don't know. But God gave you something to tell the people, and you didn't do it. I said, I didn't have the money to publish it, so I didn't publish it. I'm not a known publisher. So if you're not a known writer, you got to pay. Now, a guy that has 5 or 6 top selling books out there, these publishers look for him. Don't worry about it. We'll give you money. We'll advance you because we know you're going to have a top seller. Well, they don't advance people they don't know, and they didn't know me. It's like right now, working on my book, The Unknown at 10 Experiences of a Boy from Beyond the Natural World and Need to Know. I got to pay. They're not going to do it for free. They're just not going to do it for free. And that's where I'm at. Trying to put that book together. Trying to make things come about. So as I work on my book and as I share my stories with everybody, hoping to entice you that when the book comes out, you'll buy it and read like like this one gentleman used to say, what the hell was his name? Can't believe I can't remember his name now. I used to watch him every day. He would say, and now the rest of the story. Paul Harvey. I used to like that guy. He told some, I learned a lot of stuff from him when I was young. He always had the rest of the story. But anyway, that was in 1990. I said it was going to take place August the 8th. In my book, it happened in the 8th of August. And the year was 2001. Well, it happened August the 11th, 2001, 9/11. Mine was 9/12. How about this? 1990. 11 years before it took place. Now, you could take it for what it's worth. I don't care. Because you see, it really happened. And my brothers and friends and family, and the transcript that I have here are proof. When I had that office, I had all my computers there were tied in together, and I had hired this technician who was going to SAC that I met through one of the employees. He was a cousin or something, but he's going to SAC, take the computer science or whatever. And I was having to add in another computer because I brought on another sales rep, and I had a vision. I said, look, I come up with this idea, and I had drawn it out, a little box that would set, it would look something like this, sitting on the table where you're at. It would face you, but it'd be like this, kind of like a little rounded pyramid thing. But the front side would be a TV screen, a small TV screen, and I got the idea from the TV screen on my TV I had there. I was, what if you had that? You had a deal there to swipe your credit card, and on the screen you had a menu, and it would tell you, number one, two enchiladas, beans and rice, is the number one, $5.99, or a hamburger or a cheeseburger or what have you. You got all the menu there and your drinks, and you pick what you want and you order what you want. And the only thing you'll see the wait person when they come to bring your food and your drinks and your spoons and your forks, and then you just pay for it right there at the table with your credit card or debit card. That's a great idea, Mr. Sheldon, but I'm afraid we just don't have that kind of technology right now to go there with that. But it sounds like a pretty good idea. I said, yeah, you're probably right. Well, 2004, I guess it was. 2002, somewhere in there. My grandson, Robert, graduated 2014, I think, 2016. Anyway, I wound up going to Houston to attend his graduation. And my daughter took me to have lunch when I got there at Chili's. Her and my two granddaughters and my youngest two grandsons. And I got there a couple days before the graduation, or a day. She said, there's a reason I brought you here. Said, really? Yeah. She moved this thing over to me, and my grandson, I think it was Sheldon, he started playing a game on it. I said, cool, they got a game player on there. My daughter said, you don't recognize it? It was almost exactly what I had told that young man that I wanted to do. And he told me we didn't have the technology. And here it was 5 or 6 years later, and they had it there in that restaurant. I don't know if it was Chili's, Applebee's, I don't know what it was, but they had it. Then next thing you know, went to Applebee's had it. Chili's has it, and I think every restaurant, a lot of the restaurants already had something like that. And when I visioned it in 2000, and I don't know if it was 2 or 3, somewhere in there, I was told there was no technology to put that together with about having to run. I was thinking wireless like a phone, but he said there wasn't the technology to put it together. But it didn't take long to come along. So many things like that have come to pass. Not all are scary. Lord knows I have seen a ton of scary things. My ex-wife could tell you, my wife could tell you, my My kids can tell you, and some of my friends. It's hard to sit back and tell somebody something because they're going to say, oh, yeah, sure, sure. I don't have to make it up. I have witnesses to most everything that I've gone through. So I don't have to make any of it up. And I don't know, here lately I've met several people that have the same ability. And when we start talking, I went through stuff like that when I was younger. But I didn't know how to tell my family or my parents or anybody because I was scared to think I was crazy. Well, I like to watch Sheldon or Big Bang Theory. Coincidental, same that my last name is Sheldon, but anyway, there are some things he reminds me of myself. Even my wife says some of his perks. But what he says about psychics gets me upset, or what he says about God gets me upset. But I know he's just playing a character. I hope he's not really like that in real life, the gentleman who plays it. But the writers that write that stuff, I feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for anybody that doesn't believe. Because there's too many of us out there. I see somebody sitting right there. I don't know who you are, but I hope you enjoy sitting there and watching me. But you're not going to scare me away. I see you. Almost looks like Jesus sitting there. Look at that. I don't know if y'all can see him right there. I don't have nothing there. There's no picture there. But I can see somebody sitting there. I don't see him on the other screen, my YouTube screen, but I see him on the Facebook screen. How about that? That is weird. But if it is you, Lord, welcome. I appreciate you being here. Well, I just wanted to pop in. It's been 3 weeks since I've done a podcast, and I haven't done a birthday special. So for all of you that had a birthday that I missed, I apologize. Happy birthday. I'm hoping to get back on track here pretty soon. I have to get a card going before my wife goes back to work. And unfortunately, I'm not in a position to take it to a shop and pay some guy $400 to do what I do here at the house, which is process of elimination, study the YouTube, call my friends that do that kind of work and figure it out. That's what they do. So why pay someone to do what I can do here at home? Of course, my first few weeks out there were rough because I getting over all my illnesses. Matter of fact, today I went for them to do a sonogram, an echo, whatever, and checking the valve they put on me. I got that new pig valve. So, what do you do? But either way, for those of you on YouTube that checked in, thank you. Facebook, I'm sure everybody's already gone to bed. But I will be back here next Wednesday to do my regular podcast and hopefully get back to doing my weekly birthday wishes. I may start doing my podcast late in the evening. That way I can build a little bit of an audience. Because that midday podcast, it's hard for anybody to be part of it because of the time of the day. But keep your eye out for the book when it comes out. The Unknown at 10. The Experiences of a Boy from Beyond the Natural World and the Need to Know. You can contact me at 210 416 4538. If you'd like to make an appointment, come in for a reading. Remember, 15 minutes are free. And also remember, I don't want you don't have, but don't hesitate to come see me if you have a question or need some guidance. You can also email me at Psychic R. Joseph, SATX, at yahoo.com. Also send a text to 210-777-5028. My book will be printed by a company called Pacific Ghostwriters. This is just a cover. I printed it out so I could fold it onto a book. It's a far cry from the first one that the publisher gave me. These young people have come a long ways, and I've already invested money with them. My next big ticket will come just before the book comes out. I have to make arrangements with them for the promotion part. The publishing part was one thing, but if I want to get it promoted, that's a whole different ballgame. And makes me want to go back and ask questions because I was told that there was a certain amount that was going to get done when the book got written for the price. But they do have a mass promotion, radio, TV, stuff like this. I can't think of the word. I do apologize. To get people motivated into looking at the book. They're very positive. I sent them 6 chapters or 8 chapters, and the ghostwriter goes through it, and words that maybe weren't real strong, they replace with stronger words, more emphasis on certain things, but they don't change the basic story. And that's my biggest thing. I don't want to change. They're all short stories, things that happened as I was growing up, as a young teenager, as an adolescent, a young adult, and then eventually as I became an old fart that I am today. Sorry I missed you. I'll be back next Wednesday. I'll come on Tuesday and let you know if I'm going to do a morning or an evening podcast. I kind of like the evening now. I'm not rushed to go do other things. I would like to invite you to come in, ask questions. You can email me or text me a question. I can answer it. You can go on YouTube live, be part of it. Ask a question. I'll answer you back on the screen, or I'll send you a text. I'll answer one question for free online or on Facebook. But when you come to my office, you get your first 15 minutes of reading for free. If you decide you like what you hear and you want to continue, we'll go over my pricing and we'll go from there. The first 15 minutes lets you get an idea if you want to spend your money. But one thing for sure, I'm never going to tell you to bring me a pot full of money to give you a line of bullshit. I am going to tell you what I hear and see, And a lot of times it ain't what you're looking for. Because I ain't going to tell you everything's grand and you're going to get everything. I'm going to tell you what I see. And sometimes not exactly what you want to hear, but it's the truth. After all, that's what you want. So, with that said, I wish you a great evening. And thank you. What happened? Come back. Come back. Have a great evening. Spiritualist R.J.Sheldon, psychic and spirit. San Antonio, 210-416-4538. Or Psychic R. Joseph, STX at yahoo.com. Text me, call me, email me, get an appointment, come see me. I'm the real deal, Bill. I shit you not. With that said, have a blessed night. May the Lord bless you, keep you safe, bless you with happiness, love, good health, and money in the bank. Till next time, hasta la vista.
K.O.
That's the end of it. I'll see you next time.